Okay. Yeah, I'll do that one. Okay.
So if you could,
Okay.
You think Cold Mountain, the movie, the book was better.
Great.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy September again. We're back for another video. One that we teased the last time in our TBR video.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to just bite the bullet and do it.
And we're going to do a Q&A.
All about books.
All about
book stuff. We have a very special wheel, which you'll see on the screen as we do this. So we'll randomly select questions for each other. And then just kind of, you'll get to find out more about what we like in books, what we think, are better books, and books we didn't like, and all sorts of questions. So we're excited that you're here. We are Shelf Possessed.
I'm David.
And I'm Craig. And we're so glad that you're back. We're so glad that you joined us again for another video. If you haven't, click the like button, subscribe, comment below. If we missed a question that you want us to answer, put it in the comments and we'll load it up into the next one. So if we hit the 300 mark, we're going to do a much more personal Q&A about our lives together and books and all that stuff. So we'll hopefully get there soon.
And those questions will be provided by you, the subscribers.
Yes. So keep an eye out on our Instagram, and for any other information coming up about that, we'll put it out there as quickly as we can. So should we get started?
Okay. You're first.
All right, so we're going to spin the wheel. This is how this will work. We'll spin the wheel, and then whatever question we get, whether it's my question or his question, we'll answer. It's just one at a time, so we'll try not to both answer the question unless something changes. So
okay.
All right. All right, so I'm going first?
Yes.
All right, here we go. If you could live in the world of one book, which world/book would that be? Part of me is inclined to say, so there's this book I read last year called The City Baker's Guide to Country Living, which is kind of a cheesy romance, but it's actually really beautiful, and the setting is Vermont, in the fall and winter, and it's kind of a perfect setting for a book. Mm-hmm. And I loved that book, and I love the setting of that book. So I think I choose that one probably because that's my aesthetic. That's my vibe. Mm-hmm. So
I got that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, your turn.
Big money. Okay, what book would you recommend to a friend having a bad day? Justin Sayre's Husky is a very good book. To kind of if you have a friend who's going through a bad time, I would always kind of jump to that book because I remember getting that book at a very low time in my life, and it just made me happy. And I was a queer, chubby kid growing up, and the main character is as well. And it's just him kind of going through these kind of trials and tribulations throughout his young adult life. And it's a fascinating read. It's a fun read, and it makes me happy. And Justin Sayre makes me happy, so his writing just equally made me that much more happier reading it. So
that's a good choice. A good book too.
So I like that. I think that's the first thing that popped to my head. So
okay. Good. All right. Next one for me. All right. Who has given you the best book recommendations?
Not me.
I mean, my instinct is to say this person sitting right next to me. However, we tend to read similarly in a lot of ways, so I don't know that it would necessarily be you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to pick a YouTuber probably who recommends books, or two of them actually. I'm gonna pick both Gabby Reads and Jordaline Reads because they both kind of read within the same genre that I love, and a lot of the books that they have liked, I have also liked or have wanted to pick up. So I'm gonna say them for a YouTuber. For a real life person, one of my good friends, Kelsey, she and I read very similarly, and so she's given me also very good book recommendations. Yeah? Is there anyone that has given you good book?
There will be times when you give me book recommendations, but I'll say okay and ignore it. But like a year later, I will remember, or I will say, hey, have you read this book? And then you would be like, well, I recommended that to you about a year ago. And then I usually kind of start it, and I end up liking it.
Yeah.
Most
just takes a while to get there.
Most of the time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. You're up.
Okay. This?
Yep.
Right? Okay. Makes me dizzy. Oh, you are throwing a dinner party. What 3 book characters are you inviting, and what are you having for dinner? First of all, I'm just gonna wait. Just the first 3 that pop in my head. Okay, so this is so weird, but Dorothy from A Certain Hunger, because she's a food critic, so she would know what good food is, and but we wouldn't be eating people. Like it would be a regular dinner party. So Dorothy from A Certain Age, Dana the comic from Last Woman Standing, because I think we would need that kind of comedy element at the party, and Laurel Plummer from Blind Tiger, because she's tough and feisty, and I think she could be able to. I think that's a good group of women to have a dinner party with, and it would probably be like a fried chicken, mashed potatoes, biscuits, gravy, green beans, corn, just a good home-cooked kind of country meal, I think.
It's an odd meal choice for those 3 people, but
I think it's comfort food, and it's nothing too, nothing too crazy, and I think we would be comfortable. We could probably eat in the living room, have wine, gin and tonic, whatever.
You're also just hungry and thirsty right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I think those 3.
All right. Next one. Let's see what I get. What book would you like to see an adaptation of that hasn't already been made? That's a great question, and I think that my instinct is to always say one of the Riley Sager books, because I love those books so much, although I believe almost all of them have adaptations in the works. But as of filming, nothing has been released, so I'm going to say probably Final Girls by Riley Sager. I'd also really love to see a adaptation of the Final Girl support group, which I think we're going to get as well, but it just hasn't been officially made yet. Mm-hmm. So probably those 2.
Not Survive the Night.
I mean, of all of his books, I feel like Final Girls is one of my favorites. So Survive the Night was good, and I bet we'll get one eventually. But yeah, I think those 2 would probably be the best. Yeah.
Okay. What classic book are you embarrassed you haven't read yet? There's a lot. Moby Dick. I'm going to say Little Women.
Oh.
It's probably another one. I think I've started it. I think that's one that I've started numerous times, and I just have never finished it because I just keep thinking about, the Winona Ryder movie version of it, which I love. I think those are the 2 big ones, and I think there's a lot of classic authors that I just haven't really gotten to, but it's just too many to name. So, yeah. I think those are the 2 that I'm most embarrassed about, because I know a lot of people love Little Women, and I have not read through it completely.
Yeah.
So.
Mine is Rebecca.
And we have that.
And we own it. And it's like classic top of the thriller list, and I just haven't read it yet.
I thought one of us started it.
I know we owned it and we talked about starting it, but I don't think either of us did.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm up, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Getting down to the wire. What is your biggest book pet peeve? This is easy. Unreliable narrators. I have a lot of book pet peeves. So that's one of them. Battling for that spot is also probably like the jumping of timelines. Those are two things I just kind of I'm getting either tired of or I've seen too much of. So yeah, I'm kind of like ready for those two things to go away.
Like going back and forth, like
in time. Yeah. Also shifting narrators is really tough too. So I just gave you three, but like those are probably the biggest. Like the shifting narrators, shifting time periods, and unreliable narrators for sure. So yep. All right.
Okay.
Spin that wheel. Come on, Pat.
What book have you read the most in your life? Flowers in the Attic, one. I think that's probably the one. That's the first one that I thought of. But I think I read it like every 5 to 10 years, and that's always been a book with me. And then Craig bought an original cover. It has a book that has original cover on it that I love.
I think it's actually a first edition, so you're never getting rid of that one.
No. So that's probably the one. Probably one of the most important reading experiences of my young adult life, too. Well, not young adult, because I was like a child when I was reading it, but it made a huge impact of how I love to read and what I look forward to in a good book.
Yeah. All right. If you could change the ending to a book, what book and what ending? And that is actually pretty easy as well. That would be A Little Life. I love that book, and I think the ending is obviously fine as it is.
Yeah.
But for my emotional well-being and mental health, I would have loved that book slightly ended differently. And maybe ended more on like an up note than a down note. But I still think it's a great book. And the ending didn't change that for me. But I do kind of wish that there would have been a different ending to that book. So, yeah.
Maybe a sequel.
Yeah, right. We don't need that, I don't think.
Describe yourself in 3 books. You should probably answer that. How
about this? We'll both answer this one.
Okay, Wizard of Oz, Flowers in the Attic, and A Certain Hunger, because I think that kind of sums me up in kind of like what I like in my books, in my films, in my art. I kind of enjoy all of those things. So I think that's a good description. Mm-hmm. What about you?
I guess I would have to pick a play. So Cat on a Hot Tin Roof by Tennessee Williams, because I feel a kinship with him. Probably Me Talk Pretty One Day by David Sedaris, because that helped me a lot when I was coming of age in my 20s. And then probably Gone Girl, because I love thrillers and it just kind of, changed the way I read books. So, yeah.
And we have all of them.
And we do own all of those. Yes, that is true.
Okay, your turn.
All right. All right. What is a book trope that you love, and what about one that you hate? I think book tropes that I really love are the twists. I mean, it would explain why I love thriller so much, and I love the twists and turns that you get in those kind of books. I also love when authors are able to like slowly eke out information about someone so that by the end of the book you don't even realize that you've learned a tremendous amount about the character or the world, and you don't see some of those things coming. So I love that. The thing that I hate, the tropes that I hate, I think like an overuse of flowery dialogue. Like when I can count the number of adjectives that are being used, that makes me nervous. Like I don't know why. Like I love descriptive authors and I love worlds that are described well, but I just think there's sometimes an overuse of that. Yeah, probably.
What book did you dislike the most this year and why? I think that it's a lot of people's favorite book this year, and it just was not mine. And you can go back into some of our other videos where we talk about this book and review this book, but it's Yes, Daddy, and I could not. I don't know. I just couldn't get. I don't know. I couldn't wrap my head around it, and I was a little troubled by it, and I just didn't. I don't know. I really don't want to give it any more attention that it's already received. So it just was not my cup of tea. I know a lot of people loved it, but it was just no.
All right, which was better, the book or the movie?
Of what?
It's just in general.
Oh.
It's always the book, right? Like, there have been times where I think movie adaptations have really done well with the source material, for sure. I think that the movie version of The Hours did a tremendous job with that and, like, adapted it really, really well. I think that there are movies that are maybe more glamorous or more in-depth than the book, but I think the book is always better. I like being able to envision the world myself.
You are invited to a costume party. You have to dress like a book character. Who is it and why? First, Christopher Robin from Winnie the Pooh. Why? Because I like bears. And here's a picture of me singing to a bear. I'll send you a picture. There's a picture of me singing to a bear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't go as Pooh, you'd go as Christopher Robin?
Yeah.
But if you went as Winnie the Pooh, you wouldn't have to wear pants.
I have to wear pants.
Okay. I did figure out what mine would be, though.
Okay.
It would be Patrick Bateman. Because then I could go in a suit and look nice. Or I could go in like a poncho covered in blood.
Okay.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
That could be fun.
Mm-hmm. It could be Elphaba and Glinda.
Yeah. Well, who's who, though? You have to decide. Comment down below. Which one of us is Elphaba? Which one of us is Galinda?
Don't you dare. I'd be the donkey professor is what I would be.
I'm Madame Morrible, clearly. What do you listen to when you read is the last question. I think we can both answer this because typically we listen to the same thing. What is yours?
Some kind of lo-fi music or some autumn background or rain in the background is what I like. I can't have any, I can't hear words or I can't hear loud instruments, but something kind of soft, and that's not going to make me steer me away from what I'm reading.
And those are my favorite things too. I like the aesthetic, background YouTube videos that have some sound and some kind of, aesthetic look to them. I could listen to lo-fi music all the time. I don't care if it's the same video. We have the same video on every night when we're going to bed, while we're reading. It's the same thing. In fact, I'll probably link our favorite lo-fi video below. So if you want some reading music to listen to, you should check that out. Also, I've been thinking about creating a playlist of music that we could listen to while we're reading. But I'm in total agreement. I need something soft, something in the background, something that's not going to be a problem. But I also don't like reading when it's silent either. I love having something on. Mm-hmm. I need music on when, The best memory I have is right when the Panini first started, it was...
Say Panini.
Yeah. It was raining outside and we had the windows open and we had jazz music on and windows open and heavy rain, and it was the perfect reading mode. And I kind of wish for that every day.
Especially late at night if there's a storm.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Not lawnmowers or screaming children running around outside.
Yeah, no thank you.
Not my personal favorite.
No.
Yeah, what do you think is Sweet Bitter?
I haven't started it yet. I know that everyone is waiting hotly, anticipating my review of Sweet Bitter, but I haven't started it yet. I did finish both of the like fiction books on my TBR, and I'm just waiting to start Sweet Bitter. So yeah, I'm currently reading the book about A Star Is Born, and I think that book is going to take over the book about Carrie and musical flops. So you've already pretty much torn through your whole TBR except for the book I gave you, right?
That's the one that I'm currently reading now. I kept stopping and starting with Kristen Hanna's book, but I think I'm going to finish that this weekend. So, yeah. Or this coming weekend.
So we're making progress.
We'll see.
On our September TBR. I think we'll actually. I don't think we're going to miss any books that we talked about. You know.
I think the problem for me is that I'm looking forward to the books for October,
yeah.
And I'm just like, just read these so you can get to to those, because I think there may be one that I DNF this month. I think it might happen. Not going to be yours, but it might be one of the other two that I'm reading. So, but I'm excited for October. I think that's what I'm excited for the most.
I'm just ready for October to be here in general. We have a lot of fun things planned in October, so I'm kind of excited the most for that. So, well, that about does it for our Q&A for this time. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope that you enjoyed the questions that we came up with for each other. And if we missed something or there's something that you want to know more, comment below and let us know, and we'll kind of throw it into the next one if we can. Yeah.
And you can always follow us on Instagram at @shelf_possessed.
We'll post like pictures of our TBRs, all that stuff. So check us out there. And we're so glad you came back, and keep tuning in. Share the videos if you can. Tell people about us. We'd love, for more people to join the conversation. So I'm Craig.
And I'm David.
And we are Shelf Possessed. And thank you for coming, and we will see you next time.